Welcome back to the channel. Season 20 is finally drawing to a close and we are ending the season in style with a community creation from my Discord, the Shadow Hub. If you've got a Discord account and you're not currently a member, what are you doing with yourself? It's linked down below. Come join the fun. We do these community creations at the end of every single season. As you can see by the length of the video, there are plenty of battles to feature. I believe we've got almost 40, which is kind of ridiculous, and this is the biggest project I've ever undertook. Firstly, a huge thank you to everyone who submitted battles to me. Secondly, a huge thank you to both Cutlass Boy and KitKat Deluxe who have helped me organise this massive project. Of course, I could have split this video into two and made two videos out of it to try and maximise financial gain. I'm sure a lot of you know I get demonetized quite often and I really don't care about financial gain. So feel free to just end the video whenever you want, come back to it later. But if you are watching, do me a favour and smash that like button, help it reach a wider audience. Today's video is just going to be a compilation of triple shadow battles from every single league and every single format throughout the duration of season 20. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. Nick's going to be getting us underway, and in battle number 1, we are not off to the best start, leading Shadow Pidgeot into Dunsparce. Nick say switches into Excadrill, and he's instantly going to have to put up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Drill Run. Excadrill's an insane glass cannon. In any format, not even taking into account, this one's the Shadow variant at 1500 CP. The opponent obtains himself a shield advantage, then switch out into Diggersby. Nick lands the Drill Run. Nick thinking about it, going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the Scorching Sands, commit to that full Mud Slap farm now, leaving with residual energy, but we're now down both Protect Shields. Nick heavily over farms before firing off the Drill Run. Drill Run forces us a Protect Shield back. We then switch out into Camerupt, and Camerupt's going to be making a very brief cameo appearance, sacrifice to the Pokegods. Drill Run picks up that one-hit KO. Nick still finds himself in a tricky spot. This Dunsparce is giving us a huge headache. We send back out Excadrill, fire off the Drill Run, looking to remove Dunsparce from the field of play. The opponent says no. Invest in their final Protect Shield. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run, knocking Excadrill out from the field of play. We send out Pidgeot. Pidgeot able to get that full Gust farm down. Out comes Jumpluff, and Pidgeot about to get us some redemption. It's now our turn to land that big one-shot. Hi Jumpluff, bye Jumpluff, remove yourself from my screen, and we take that game. In the next battle, we've got Alpha Club leading Shadow Drifblim into Altaria. This matchup greatly improved this season due to just how oppressive these Shadow Astonishes are. Unfortunately, we're not running Icy Wind. That would be double super effective in this matchup. Alpha Club just going to YOLO the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball goes unshielded. Altaria survives quite literally 1 HP and a Dream. And we're going to look to soak the energy onto our Rattate. This Shadow Rattate is running Hyper Beam and Frustration. If you're wondering what moveset to run, this one certainly isn't it. As we aren't running Crunch, despite Rattate getting a running start, the opponent able to outpace to the Mud Bomb, but Rattate holds strong, able to survive the Mud Bomb, farm to the Hyper Beam bait with the Frustration, forcing a Protect Shield. Getting a Frustration shielded is always a moral victory. Back out comes the Balloon. Alpha Club unwilling to shield, the opponent fire off the Scold, picking up the knockout, and it's all down to a 2-shield Mamoswine to clean up. Mamoswine going to be investing 1 Protect Shield, looking for that full Mud Slap farm down. The opponent baits with the Mud Bomb, but no bait. We'll be saving this Wishcash's fate as we're still able to farm down afterwards. Out comes a Fire Spin Charizard, and we are very grateful the opponent gave us a huge energy lead. The first Avalanche forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The second one, no, isn't quite lethal. Alpha Club unable to farm down, and the game ends in a tie. GG's to both trainers. In the next battle, we lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into Gliscopod. Not a fantastic matchup by any means, but this thing is a huge core breaker. We've got 2 water types in the back that also aren't particularly good into Gliscopod either. The opponent fires off the Liquidation, rocking Sonic the Hedgehog deep into the red. We fire off the Drill Run, despite being resisted, landing for some decent chip damage. We then see the pivot into the Quagman. Quagsire going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the Liquidation. It looks like this trainer's looking for that Mud Shot farm down, which we're unable to get. Oh boy, this looks rough. Thankfully, Gliscopod only able to reach the X-Scissor. But even an X-Scissor deletes almost all of Quagsire's HP. Out comes Miltank. Another huge core breaker. Considering we've got Gator running Shadow Claw. Or at least I assume Shadow Claw in the back. We land the Stone Edge. Fire off the Aquatail. Aquatail goes unshielded. The opponent still unwilling to shield. Hanging on to 2. The next Aquatail finally forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it looks like the opponent gives up on going for the resisted rollout farm down. Body Slam removes us from the field of play. We send out Gator. Gator probably needs to respect the Thunderbolt unless we're going to have huge cojones and look to call a bait. The opponent actually does bait. Then send out Electivire. Oh, shit. We're able to make a Savage catch. Back onto Alolan Sandslash. The opponent full sends the Wild Charge, debuffing their defense. Gator grinning away, looking to clean up. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Gator able to outpace to the second Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will be removing them from the field of play. Can the opponent reach the Thunderbolt? I'll be honest, I was not counting. Please tell me this is a Body Slam. It is just a Body Slam. Gator withstands the damage, double resisted, Shadow Claw farms down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we lead Shadow Luxray into Swampert. As we've got Kanto Ninetales in the back, we're kind of forced to stay in. We're able to obtain ourselves an early shield advantage with the Psychic Fangs. We then see the aggressive pivot into Mightyena. Thankfully, the opponent opts to stay in, and they're getting deleted by these Ice Fangs. We're going to very quickly go down both Protect Shields, blocking up both incoming Hydro Cannons. Trainer, you need to pivot. So if you're in this situation, don't concede a massive farm down. Out comes Skeledirge. This is a very risky Poison Fang bait, but the Poison Fang is shielded as we're baited. Mightyena able to outpace to the Crunch with a debuff defense. Crunch easily going to pick up the knockout. We then see the aggressive pivot back into Luxray, and out comes Ferrothorn. Oh boy, this Ferrothorn is about to get cooked. Unfortunately, not by Luxray, but certainly by our Kanto Ninetales. Luxray able to reach the next Psychic Fang on the charge attack priority. Ferrothorn at half HP. How many quick moves are going to take Ninetales to delete them? I'm saying 2. 1, 2. High Ferrothorn, bye Ferrothorn. 2 fire spins, delete them in the blink of an eye, and we take that game. In the next battle, we lead a Great League Shadow Ho-Oh into Galarian Weezing. Very, very nice for us. The opponent say switches into Craydiddy. Craydiddy going to be taking neutral from these Incinerates, and a lot of neutral damage at that. We invest to Protect Shield, blocking up the Rock Slide before save switching into a Moongus. So the opponent Rock Slid our Fire type, which is definitely the correct move. Then through a double resisted Grass Knot at our Grass and Poison type. Sometimes I have no words other than trainers learn your type-ins. Back out comes Galarian Weezing. We fire off the Foul Play, forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent lightly shielded as we're a Poison type, and they probably think we've got some kind of Poison move. Unfortunately for the opponent, we do not. Our sub-Poison typing means the opponent is unable to resist it. Fairy Wind farm us down. They actually fire off the Sludge, removing us from the field of play. We send out the Penguin. Is their second move Overheat? Hopefully not. Ouch! Overheat near knocks out the Steel Penguin, but able to Waterfall farm down. Out comes Greninja. This Ho-Oh is single move, but thankfully we've got the move that is going to obliterate Greninja. The opponent invests that final Protect Shield, throw at god-awful timing. If the opponent threw at good timing, they'd be able to win this battle. However, they did not, meaning Ho-Oh is going to be able to outpace to the second Solar Beam, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, thanks for playing. So for those of you looking to improve timing, when using a 3-turn move like Water Shrieking into a 5-turn move, the correct time would be 3 quick moves, then your charge move, only giving away 1 free turn. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Fire type, Shadow Darmanitan into the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. The opponent says no thank you, say switch into Dragalge, and we answer with Shadow Wish Daddy Cash. The opponent looking to realign their Pokemon, but if they want to do that, that is going to cost them both Protect Shields. We shield up the Aqua Tail, return fire with the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb forces the opponent all shields down. They then are able to commit to that full Dragon Tail farm down. We now send out Gator. The opponent switches out into Wigglytuff, and here comes Darmanitan. Darmanitan running Focus Blast as a Hail Mary. It's going to be high Wigglytuff, by Wigglytuff. The stupid Marshmallow gets absolutely obliterated. The opponent sends back out Talonflame, able to Fire Spin farm down, but Gator has the Hydro Cannon bank. We actually go for the correct one Shadow Claw and the Hydro Cannon, removing Talonflame from the field of play. Back out comes Dragalge. The opponent is going to need to land an Outrage. We invest a Protect Shield, blocking up the Aqua Tail bait, but no bait. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. We reach the resisted Hydro Cannon and take that game. Our next featured trainer is going to be Chlorinated. Chlorinated leads Shadow Cacturn into Dunsparce. We see the immediate pivot into Donfan. Our Donphan say switch is answered by Azumarill. Donphan greatly improved this season with access to both Mud Slap and Trailblaze, both of which get buffed. Azumarill tanks the Trailblaze. Donphan going to invest a Protect Shield, looking to realign. We invest a Protect Shield, blocking up the Ice Beam. Donfan looks for that full Mud Slap farm down, which we're able to get. Back out comes Dunsparce. Dunsparce going to be greeted with the boosted Trailblaze. Trailblaze lands for huge damage. Donfan once again looking to commit to the next Trailblaze. Donfan quite literally running rampant. Trailblaze forced to Protect Shield, but Donfan has lost almost all its HP. Back out comes Cacturn. The opponent pivots into the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death, but my god, do we have some counter for this? Out comes Rhyperior. Rhyperior farms up, fires off the Breaking Swipe, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Do they have Brave Bird? They're going to need to Brave Bird to knock us out. The opponent baits with the Fly. Rhyperior going to fire off the next Breaking Swipe, looking to move Talonflame from the field of play. The opponent survives deep in the red. That looks like 2 Sucker Punch range to me, so we should be able to farm down before the Incinerate registers. The opponent actually fire off one further Fly that isn't quite lethal. The opponent goes to the Wham Bam combo play, fire off the Drill Run, removing Rhyperior from the field of play. Dunsparce fires off the Rock Slide. Cacturn might be glassy, but Rock Slide isn't going to get the job done. Cacturn able to Sucker Punch farm down the remainder of the team, and we emerge victorious. GG's. In the next battle, we've got battles from none other than Cutlass Boy, someone who's helped put this project together, and of course is one of my Discord moderators. We see a dreadful lead, Shadow Ferrothorn into Alolan Marowak. We see the instant pivot into Shadow Primeape. The opponent invests a Protect Shield, blocking up the first Rage Fist, which isn't something I'd recommend doing, as of course Rage Fist comes 100% chance to vamp up your attack, meaning this next one will do even more damage. The opponent happy to 2-shield Marowak, looking for that Fire Spin farm down. Shadow Primeape says no, reaches the double boosted Rage Fist, which actually isn't quite lethal. I'll be honest, I expected that to knock out. As Cutlass Boy has Shadow Haunter in the back, we send back out Ferrothorn using it as the damage sponge. We tank the Shadow Bone, commit to the resisted Bullet Seed farm down. I see the instant pivot into Haunter. The opponent's got a very nice Haunter counter in the back in the form of Gator. That's using Shadow Claw as a quick move, but Haunter with shield advantage, looking to sweep the back line. We throw the Shadow Punch on the charge attack priority. That isn't quite lethal, but Haunter, more than happy to invest to Protect Shield, commit to that full Shadow Claw farm down, leaving with residual energy, good to go. The opponent sends back out their own Primeape. Primeape able to survive the Shadow Punch, but Haunter able to Shadow Claw farm down afterwards, and we take that game. In the next battle, Cutlass Boy flexing his Ultra League Shadow Primeape. I am so jealous of this pick. We see the Mirror Lead. Cutlass Boy opts to pivot into Golurk. The opponent fire off the super effective Rage Fist before sending out the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. Golurk gonna fire off the Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch forced to Protect Shield, and the opponent's gonna get a very nice Incinerate farm down afterwards. Neither of our 2 remaining Pokemon really fancy tanking these Incinerates. Cutlass Boy reveals his third, sending out Gengar. Gengar instantly invests the Protect Shield, blocking up the Flame Charge. But Flame Charge is very problematic for us, as it does vamp up the opponent's already impressive Incinerate. The opponent vamps up their attack once again. Holy, that boosted Incinerate did a lot. Cutlass Boy gives up on the farm down, opts to throw the Shadow Punch, finally removing Talonflame from the field of play. Out comes Drapion. How do we win this? This could be a Focus Blast. Okay, we force the shield. Cutlass Boy then farms up, tries to catch a Cruncher Aquatail onto Primeape. The opponent's actually running Sludge Bomb. How is this winnable? I don't even know if this is a win, to be honest. I didn't actually state. There had to be wins, just fun battles from the season. We fire off the Rage Fist, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Can Gengar output enough damage to remove Drapion from the field of play? I don't think we're going to reach double Shadow Balls. Hopefully a Shadow Ball plus Shadow Punch will get the job done. Shadow Ball rocks Drapion deep into the red. Is this resisted Shadow Punch enough to knock out? Holy Gengar, you monster. Very, very close game. GG's Cutlass Boy. In the next battle, Excadrill leads Shadow Alolan Sandslash into the Bear Trap Galarian Stunfisk. A pretty neutral matchup, with both Pokemon having the ability to hit each other for super effective, but I would favour the Bear Trap as they have the ability to one-shot, whereas Sandslash does not. We actually force a Protect Shield. With the Drill Run, the opponent farms up a boatload of energy before baiting with the Rock Slide. Excadrill like, I do not shield baits in this household. We're actually able to force both Protect Shields in the opening matchup, which is huge for us as we've got 2 very hard-hitting fighting types in the back. Excadrill sends out Sneasler, looking to get an energy lead. We're going to invest a Protect Shield on what is almost certainly a Rock Slide bait. I stand corrected. The opponent actually full send. allowing Excadrill to heavily overfarm before firing off the Aerial Ace on the charge attack priority, removing the Bear Trap from the field of play. Out comes Azumarill. Aerial Ace might be neutral, but close combat will hit harder. Close combat does a very solid amount of chip damage, hopefully putting this Mighty Blue Mouse into Leaf Blade range. We see the pivot into Glade, fire off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade gets Azumarill low, but they're able to withstand the damage. Excadrill burns the final Protect Shield, blocking up the Play Rough. Out comes Charger Bug. This isn't a great matchup for Glade, but Glade does not care about typings. Excadrill farms up, throws a close combat on the charge attack priority, rocking them below half health. X-Scissor picks up the knockout. Excadrill sends back out Sneasel, reaches one further close combat, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Our next featured battler is going to be Hash Brown 2-on-1. We lead Shadow Victreebel into Superior. Both these grass types do have coverage for opposing grass types. We farm up some energy, see the pivot into Shadow Typhlosion, and our Typhlosion save switch is answered by Dr. Squidward, aka Tentacruel. Next season, we see all the elemental punches being buffed, and I think Typhlosion is going to be a standout pick. It looks like this season, despite Thunder Punch being a pretty mid move, Typhlosion is still able to shield once, get that full Incinerate farm down. Back out comes Superior. Superior instantly going to be putting up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Blast Burn. The opponent able to Vine Whip farm us down, but we've now got the option to realign, so we're going to send out Drapion to greet this Grass Snake. Hash Brown 2-on-1, actually running Sludge Bomb, a moveset that not many people opt for in the Great League. Does the opponent respect the damage? Sludge Bomb sneaks through the Protect Shield, picking up that one-hit KO. Out comes Walrein. Hash Brown 2-on-1 going to commit to the next Sludge Bomb, looking to force the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent unwilling to shield. Sludge Bomb does far too much damage. We pivot into Victreebel, we magically farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we are running it back with the same team from the same trainer. We see a huge core breaker. Dunsparce going to be advantageous into the entirety of our team. We've got two things weak to ground in the back, so Victreebel is our best answer. We're able to force ourselves an early shield advantage. Hash Brown 2-on-1, going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the Drill Run, looking to return fire one further Leaf Blade, hopefully doing some very solid chip damage onto Dunsparce. We're able to get Dunsparce deep into the red, putting in a farm down range for either Pokemon. The opponent fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run actually isn't quite lethal. We get one further Magical Leaf, putting him in a 1 Incinerate range. Out comes Typhlosion. Typhlosion gets that Incinerate farm down. Out comes Clodsire, and we are full sending. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Blast Burn forces the final Protect Shield. We then see the pivot into Drapion. Did the opponent react quick enough to fire off an Earthquake? They did not. It's just a Stone Edge. They then pivot into Superior. The opponent probably thinks this is a better way of sponging energy from Drapion. What a surprise, trainer. We've got Sludge Bomb. Get that Superior off my screen. Sludge Bomb picks up that one shot. Back out comes Clodsire, and this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. Crunch rocks the opponent down to round the third health. The opponent going to be unable to Poison Sting farm us down. They're going to fire off the Stone Edge. Stone Edge removes us from the field of play. Back out comes Typhlosion. We reach the Blast Burn, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's. A special shout out to the channel mascot Drapion, running Stab Sludge Bomb, nuking back-to-back Superiors. Heading into the next battle, Jonah leads Shadow Powdon into the pesky Spider. A pretty neutral matchup. We've got access to Rock-type Weather Wall that'll hit the Bug typing for super effective, and Gyarados, of course, has access to Trailblaze. As we're opting into no shield, hopefully this is just a lunge. Ouch. That is not a lunge, that is a super effective Trailblaze, but Hippowdon's bulk holds strong, able to withstand the damage and outpace to the Rock-type Weather Ball. We force a protection and the opponent opts to dump energy without overfarming whatsoever. We now send out Alakazam. Alakazam gets the Psycho Cut farm down, leaving with a small amount of residual energy and a shield advantage. The opponent sends out Licky, far too thicky. Who the hell runs Lickitung in Season 20? Alakazam fires off the Psychic. We then see the pivot. Oh my days. Into Sharpedo. When I saw this fighting typing in the top right corner, my heart sunk because I thought we're about to get absolutely deleted. But this fighter is running Psycho Cut itself. So instead of hitting us for super effective, they're hitting for double resisted. Sharpedo just going to double shield, commit to that full waterfall farm down and look to inflict as much pain as we physically can on the returning Licky, far too thicky. The opponent plays the CMP tie. They do not win. Poison Fang isn't quite lethal, but gets them into a range where we should be able to Psycho Cut farm down. The opponent fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam actually isn't lethal. We Psycho Cut Farmland Lickitung and take that game. Our next featured battler is going to be Pokemon Master running a Triple Shadow Fighting theme team. Oh boy, and we see a Wigglytuff. This looks dreadful. The opponent does us a huge favour, save switching into a Azumarill, and we can respond with Gallade. Despite Gallade being a fighting type, Gallade is advantageous into a Azumarill, as we take 8 turns to a Leaf Blade, and they take 15 turns to their cheapest move of Ice Beam. This is essentially why I call Azumarill a slow, cumbersome mouse, as they are so slow to get to charge moves. I really hope our Toxicroak is running Poison Jab as well, so we've actually got some way of getting rid of Wigglytuff. Back out comes Wigglytuff. We're going to fire off the close combat, looking to force the knockout or a protection and give the opponent less farm. The opponent actually completely sacked Wigglytuff, doing us a huge favour. Our Toxicroak isn't running Poison Jab, it's running Counter. Can we win this battle? I think we're going to have to look to try and commit to a fast move beatdown. It looks like Pokemon Master attempted to make the catch unsuccessfully, then opt to throw the charge move at the last second, which does actually do 1 HP worth of damage despite it going shielded. Gator isn't doubled up, so Toxicroak comes back out, counter farms down Gator, and we take that game. Our next featured battler is going to be Storm King, leading Shadow Gator into Azumarill. This is a clean win for Shadow Gator in the 2-shield scenario because Gator is just an absolute spam menace. The opponent does themselves 0 favours, throwing the play rough as soon as they get it, which is on alignment, giving Gator 1 extra Shadow Claw. Storm King shields up the play rough. He's then going to look for a good timing, which is 1, 4 and 7, using a 2-turn move into a 3-turn move. The next Hydro Cannon isn't quite lethal. Gator can survive a play rough from here. It will get us low, but it is survivable, and we should be able to Shadow Claw farm down afterwards. The issue with this play is, if we actually don't Shadow Claw farm down, I was going to say we're liable to get sniped. To my surprise, we don't actually get sniped. The opponent actually able to bubble farm us down. That must have been a very heavily excelled Azumarill. We send out Primeape, get the Karate Chop farm down, throw the Rage Fist at the incoming Drapion. I think the opponent here has made a huge mistake not trying to force our final Protect Shield before pivoting into Clodsire. This is an awful matchup for Clodsire. If they forced our final Protect Shield, they could then just look to Earthquake us. However, I'm not complaining, to be honest. I love to see PvPoke's number 1 and number 2 rank pick Clodsire getting absolutely slapped down by Golurk. It looks like we were trying to pivot out, making the catch back onto Primeape unsuccessfully. What the heck is going on? The opponent Sludge Bombed our Ghost and Ground type. Okay, I really don't know what this opponent's doing, but unless they're on Sludge Bomb, this is going to be a win. Aquatail doesn't get the job done. Primeape able to Karate Chop farm down, leaving with the close combat, and resisted close combat from this range. It's going to be all she wrote. What a very strange battle. To be honest, would you even be watching a Jamie Finn upload if I wasn't bamboozled at some point? In the next battle, we've got another submission from Pokemon Master running a triple water theme team. We lead Blastoise into Gator. We managed to force ourselves an early shield advantage in this matchup. Blastoise is very bulky and a bit of a slept-on pick, to be honest. If Watergun ever got a buff, I think Blastoise would be a menace in both the Great and Ultra League. The opponent fire off back-to-back Hydro Cannons, removing us from the field of play. Pokemon Master now enters the mirror. Looks like we're going to invest 1 protection and look to keep our Gator as healthy as possible. We shield up the Hydro Cannon. Oh, very, very risky. We play to the CMP type that we're able to win, removing the opposing Gator from the field of play and maximising our energy. Things are looking up for us though, as the opponent opts to send out Diggersby into a loaded Gator, which is a very questionable play. The opponent tanks the first Hydro Cannon, bank a charge move before sending out Drapion. The opponent invests that final Protect Shield, and here comes the Pokemon I used to call the GOAT, Shadow Swampert. Is it still the GOAT? I think it's still pretty good, but unfortunately Swampert isn't as spammy as it once was. The opponent doesn't commit to a crunch. Aquatail simply will not get the job done, giving Pokemon Master a very clear path to victory. Double up. 1 Hydro Cannon will be removing Drapion from the field of play, and the second Hydro Cannon will be removing Diggersby from the field of play, with Swampert putting up an argument that is still pretty good. GG's. Our next featured battler is going to be Reptilian, and things are not off to a good start, leading Shadow Sceptile into Drapion. We see the instant pivot into Blaziken, and out comes Swampert. Reptilian opting for the full Hoenn starter evolution line. It looks like RPS not in our favour. We invest a Protect Shield on the Hydro Cannon, and we are full sending the Focus Blast. Come on, trainer, it's just a Blaze Kick, I promise. Focus Blast, Force of Protect Shield, but that is a CMP tie, so I guess that just gives us free farm. Sceptile does have Earthquake in its move pool. We aren't actually running Earthquake. We have Yola to Focus Blast at this opponent, so if Drapion does return, they might think we've got another spicy nuke in the form of Earthquake. Come on, trainer, bring it out, and I promise we're going to nuke you with an Earthquake. GBL is kind of a Wild West. You have no idea what moveset the opponent's running. Back out comes Drapion. We fire off the Breaking Swipe. Let's go, forcing that Protect Shield, and we see the pivot into Swampert. We also get the attack drop, which is very nice. The opponent counteract that attack drop, getting the defense shop on our Swampert. Reptilian farms up, throws the Hydro Cannon on the charge attack priority. The Hydro Cannon simply isn't enough to get the job done. Reptilian at this stage, going to invest the Protect Shield. Look for that Mud Shot farm down. The opponent smartly not wanting to get farmed down, pivot out into the Hot Air Balloon. Swampert going to fire off one further Hydro Cannon, rocking the opponent down to around a half health. We then go for the wham, bam, combo play, pivot into Sceptile. Sceptile fires off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe isn't quite lethal, but the opponent is forced to throw. Icy Wind will be moving us from the field of play. Back out comes Swampert. Swampert able to withstand the Astonishes. Reach the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will be removing the balloon from the field of play. Can Drapion reach a charge move? They cannot. Swampert Mudshot farms down, and we take that game. Pokemon Master returns to the stage, leading Shadow Quagman into Dunsparce. The opponent say switches into Primeape. Pokemon Master going to fire off an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail forces us an early shield advantage, and we see the pivot into Shadow Golurk. An Energy Lead Primeape is quite problematic for our team, especially with Mamoswine in the back, something that doesn't want to see a fighter whatsoever. It looks like we're going to opt to 2-shield here, but Primeape is so incredibly spammy. They'll even reach a third Rage Fist. We actually undertap the Shadow Punch, looking to force the final Protect Shield. Poor old Golurk not going to appreciate a 2-stage boosted Rage Fist, which easily knocks out. We actually send out Mamoswine, looking to get energy, and I really like that play, as that will enable us to reach the Avalanche on the charge attack priority should Dunsparce return. The opponent actually has another fighting type. They send out Annihilate. Okay, this could be winnable. Are they in Aqua Tail range? So there's quite a lot of factors to take into account here. We threw 4 Mud Slaps, which means the opponent threw 6 counters, which means they've got a Rage Fist bank. We not only need to keep out of Rage Fist range, but we also need to hope an Aqua Tail will be lethal. I imagine that's pretty close to Rage Fist range, if not Rage Fist range. The opponent actually don't opt to throw. Aqua Tail isn't lethal. The opponent actually looks to counter farm down. I do not think you needed to do that, trainer, as we certainly have no energy on Mamoswine, but it is what it is. We're able to fire off the next Aqua Tail and take that game. In the next battle, we're entering the Open Ultra League with my signature team. The team I hit Legend with in Season 19, Annihilate, Double Dark Poison. Unfortunately, back then we didn't have Shadow Annihilate. That is a new addition this season only. We see Typhlosion in the lead. The opponent gets himself a shield advantage, then save switch into Gator. We force that Protect Shield back and send out Drapion. In the Ultra League, Feraligatr has some respectable bulk. 1 crunch isn't going to be enough to get the job done. We land the crunch just before the opponent receives the energy for the next Hydro Cannon. Drapion going to get this thing as low as possible. We send back out Annihilate, commit to that counter farm down, leaving with residual energy good to go. Back out comes Typhlosion. We fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist goes unshielded. We see the pivot into Skunk Tank. The opponent banks the Thunder Punch to the road and send out Virizion. I personally like to run Flamethrower, and this is one of the matchups specifically I run it for. It also helps out against steel types such as Registeel, although Registeel isn't as common as it once was. This is certainly where the final shield needs to be invested. We just need to Poison Jab farm this down. Typhlosion's going to have to dump energy, or they'll get Poison Jab farm down, and we need to hope they're in 2 counter range. Oh, they're actually well lower than I expected. 1 counter would be enough to knock out, but even if we needed 2, the second counter would register on turn 3, the Incinerate on turn 4, and we'd either way take that game. In the next battle, we see a Tentacruel Mirror. Tentacruel, a pretty uncommon pick in the Great League, but one of the hardest answers for the ever-annoying bulky Blue Mouse, aka Azumarill. We actually lose CMP on the Scold. Both trainers have the same idea. We see the Simul swap, but us coming out on top as we Shade Switch into Gallade and the opponent sends out Carbink. We fire off the Leaf Blade. The first Leaf Blade does some very solid chip damage. The second one won't quite be lethal. The opponent is going to be able to reach the last second Moonblast, but this is the easiest one shield and farm down of our GBL career. The opponent YOLO the Moonblast, recognising they're only going to reach one move. Gallade gets a massive farm down, and out comes Drifblim. Drifblim going to be able to sponge this energy, but Gallade hits insanely hard that even a Leaf Blade does some decent chip damage. I really like this pivot, as the Leaf Blade, of course, would be better suited to being thrown at a Tentacruel rather than a hot air balloon. We fire off the Acid Spray bait, forcing the opponent's final protection. We send back out Gallade, baiting back out Tentacruel. Leaf Blade should be forcing the final Protect Shield, which it does. Unfortunately, we're unable to reach the next one, and it's all down to Machamp to clean up. Are we also about to get Acid Spray baited? We invest in Protect Shield, the opponent fire off the Acid Spray bait. Can Machamp farm up enough energy to knock both Pokemon out? We need to have the Stone Edge banked. Have we got it? Cross Chop removes Tentacruel from the field of play. Perfect energy management enables Machamp to reach the Stone Edge, winning charge attack priority, and we take that game. We're now diving into the Master League for the first time. We need Shadow Gardevoir, the Queen of Destruction, into Dialga. A very nice matchup, as long as Gardevoir has shields to hide behind. We're going to shield up the Iron Head. The opponent then say switches into Necrozma. We're going to return fire with the Triple Axle. Triple Axle forces our Protect Shield back, and we see the pivot into Rhyperior. We very quickly put up the final Protect Shield of this battle, shielding up the Dark Pulse. Rhyperior going to throw 2 Mud Slaps and the Breaking Swipe. So when using free turn into 2 turn, ideally we should have thrown an odd number, only giving the opponent 1 free turn. However, this should only be a Dark Pulse and not the Moongeist Beam. Dark Pulse doesn't do all that much damage, as Rhyperior is just an absolute meta monster. Out comes Kyogre, and I really like us full sending here. You even guarantee massive damage or the final protection. The opponent tanks the damage. We see the pivot into Gyarados, and I think we should just be able to fast move beat down the remainder of the team. We're actually opting to throw the Aqua Tail. The opponent's kind of obliged to shield, but I think they still die to quick moves. They are going to have to throw a Thunder or Roar of Time to knock out Gyarados. Iron Head won't get the job done, meaning we get off even more Dragon Breath damage, putting them into a range where Gardevoir can tap, Charm Farm down the Tin Can, back out comes Kyogre. We tap, Charm Farm that down as well, and take that game. Our next featured battler is going to be the Charon's Claw, and that is a god-awful lead. Oh boy, we are so weak to this thing as well. I've really liked Chestnut in this season's Go Battle League. It's very good into all the ground types. Common stuff like Dunsparce as well as Gator. We've also got a Gator in the back, so we're kind of obliged to stay in. We force our Protect Shield back, reach 1 further Shadow Punch, actually getting the opponent to double shield. We then see the aggressive pivot into Charizard. Out comes Cradilly. Oh boy, I can already see it coming. A Charizard sweep. Trainer, if this is your best response to Charizard, you're in for a bad day at the office. We shield at the rock side. Full send the Blast Burn. Blast Burn isn't quite lethal, giving Charizard 1 further wing attack. The opponent then sends out their own Gator. Why would you send out Cradilly rather than Gator? I have no words. We reach 1 further Blast Burn. Blast Burn picks up that 1-hit KO. We actually send out Golurk just to give the opponent free farm, but Charizard should survive 1 move. Perhaps Superpower knocks us out actually. Superpower isn't quite lethal. We wing attack farm down with Charizard sweeping the entire team. GG's. Next up, we've got the highly talented Bon Frye head. I'm unsure what phone or perhaps tablet he plays on, but his battles are always a bit hard to crop. So in this thing, you're just going to have to pretend it isn't slightly wider than all the other ones. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Bon Frye head leads Geodude into Alolan Sandslash. We see the save switch into Magmortar. This is some crazy spice. The opponent's running Vullaby. How many times are you going to see a Vullaby counter swap into a Shadow Magmortar? We landed the Fire Punch bait. Fire off the Thunderbolt, removing them from the field of play. Out comes Galarian Moltres. Magmortar still not done. Gonna fire off the Fire Punch. Look how much damage that does this season. Next season is going to be even better. We see Bon Head just send out Amoonguss, looking to use it as the damage sponge. At least our Astonish is here. Hit for neutral rather than resisted into Galarian Moltres' Dark typing. We're able to reach the Foul Play. Foul Play forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's all down to Geodude to clean up. Bon Frye head calls the bait. Bon Frye head, you're a savage, buddy. Holy, we're now just going to shield up the next move. The opponent fire off the Ice Punch. We leave with the Thunderbolt. It's going to be High Moltres, by Moltres. Absolute insanity, as always, for No Bon Frye, and he puts the stamp of authority, clutching up that game. GG's. Clearly, No Bon Frye must wear shorts, even in winter, as there's no way you can carry them enormous balls in a pair of jeans. Although we got distracted, so No Bon Frye leaves his Shadow, a shiny mark, into Galarian Weezing. The opponent farms to the overheat, and again, No Bon Frye, like, honestly, I don't shield baits, trainer. Not that's really a bait, as Brutal Swing probably would do even less than a Play Rough, as we're probably going to see here. A non-stab Brutal Swing does do less, but it would be more energy efficient. If I was the opponent, I'd just spam them at an alarming rate. We then see this Snipe with Alolan Executor. What is this thing doing in the Ultra League? I have no words and no idea, to be honest. Trainer, that is not a response for a Grass and Dragon type. Out comes Gator. The opponent throws on alignment, which isn't going to do him any favours. We respect the Ice Beam. The opponent baits with the Hydro Cannon. This can only be a Hydro Cannon. So No Bon Frye willing to tank the damage. Can we Dragon Tail farm down now? Oh, yes, we can. Leaving with the Draco Meteor. Oh, boy. This is a guaranteed shield. Gastrodon, invest that Protect Shield. We then send out Salamence. This is crazy. I have no idea what this is doing in the Ultra League. Apparently, being the algorithm, as unless the opponent's on Water Pulse, they simply cannot win this game. No Bon Frye farms to the Double Fly. You know the drill. The first one will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and the second will be removing them from the field of play. GG's. Come on, Jamie. We've still got like 15 minutes left. Get your head back in it. Next up, we've got another battle submission from the Charon's Claw. We lead Shadow Gyarados into Superior. A pretty neutral matchup, although Gyarados certainly does not tank a Frenzy Plant well whatsoever. Although the opponent just settles for the Aerial Ace, but we are still going to invest the Protect Shield. The Charon's Claw are going to heavily overfarm before returning fire with a Crunch. Dragon Breath certainly has put them in a range where Crunch will threaten the knockouts. We force our Protect Shield back. If this is just an Aerial Ace again, it won't be lethal. Oh wait, Frenzy Plant certainly will be. We now send out Tentacruel. The opponent pivots out into Gator, which is also a losing matchup, especially in the Great League, where the Poison Jabs just so oppressive. We get same type attack bonus, whereas the Shadow Claws do not. We tank the Hydro Cannon, fire off the Scald. The resisted Scald removes them from the field of play. I highly doubt Superior returns. We're going to see the opponent's third. Out comes Quagsire, the Charon's Claw. Going to farm up, make the catch onto Excadrill. What a savage play. Sludge Bomb does absolutely nothing. The opponent pivots back out into Superior. These Mud Slaps are resisted, but I think we can one shield. Fully Mud Slap farm down. The opponent full sends a Frenzy Plant. They're not reaching another move. When Quagsire does return, we can throw one Mud Slap and the Drill Run. Drill Run will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Excadrill going to win the race to the next Drill Run. This should be lethal, and even if it isn't, we've got the Scald banked, and we take that game. Very, very nicely done. Let's see what shenanigans the Charon's Claw has got for us in the next battle. We lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into a Zoom Roll. Fast move check. Oof, Powder Snow. On Shadow Claw, pretty neutral. On Powder Snow, this is definitely a losing matchup. Despite most of Azumarill not having Hydro Pump, the bubbles just add up over time. The opponent farms up, looking to bait a potential Hydro Pump. The Charon's Claw like, nah, you haven't got it. The opponent actually throw the Ice Beam. So even if you don't have Hydro Pump, I'd certainly recommend throwing Play Rough, as Play Rough is only single resisted and gets same type attack bonus, whereas Ice Beam is double resisted. The opponent this time does throw the Play Rough, but as they Ice Beam the first time, Sandslash going to be able to win the Zero Shield scenario, and we're certainly not complaining. Out comes Shadow Machamp. We send out Jumpluff. The opponent enters the mirror, and this is exactly the alignment we want. We're going to align Gallade with Machamp and just stay in this mirror ahead in energy. I guess a potential lose con is if the opponent has Acrobatics, which would do a lot. Oof, there is the Acrobatics. Thankfully, this isn't Shadow on Shadow crime, so Jumpluff able to withstand the damage, and these Fairy Winds aren't doing too much. I've got no idea why the opponent isn't shielding, to be honest, as this is their win con. We're able to win Charge Attack priority, Aerial Ace, forces a Protect Shield, and we've got this thing in a range where even Gallade can knock it out. The opponent fire off the Energy Ball. Energy Ball isn't lethal. We then see the Simul Swap with Gallade. Going to be spamming these Leaf Blades at an alarming rate. Machamp burns the final Protect Shield. Everything is resisted, but of course we need to shield something. The opponent fire off the Cross Chop. This again is a cross chop. We can just match shields. We can then just overfarm, knock Machamp out with a Leaf Blade. We're going to be able to outpace the returning Jumpluff to the close combat. Close combat is going to be resisted, but from this range, I think even a Leaf Blade might get the job done, despite that being double resisted. Close combat seals the deal, and we take that game. In the next battle, we've got none other than the one, the only XBoston. We can't put a community project together without XBoston, and your eyes are not deceiving you. We have an Ultra League Shadow Jumpluff. The opponent safe switches into Drapion, and we send out an Ultra League Alolan Dugtrio. What on earth are you doing, Boston? That is such an insane investment. Just Jumpluff and Dugtrio would have cost like 750,000 each. Out comes Typhlosion. A little Wiggy over here, gonna fire off the Mud Bomb, which of course goes shielded. And then Boston sends out his signature pick, Mr. Potato Head. Another level 50 insane spice pick. Boston has invested over 2 million to bring us this insanity. And this is why he's one of my favourite battlers. He thinks outside of the box and sends us Pokemon no one else would think of running. Jumpluff isn't even reaching 1,850 CP, which is ridiculous. My gosh, it actually survived that Dragon Claw. Jumpluff still pretty bulky despite its pathetic CP. We fire off the Energy Ball, forcing the final Protect Shield. Jumpluff putting in so much work, and it's all down to Potato Head to clean up. Boston gonna burn the final Protect Shield, blocking up the Dragon Claw bait. Boston able to get the farm down, leaving with the Rock Slide. Typhlosion, of course, not known for its bulk, and Rock Slide, despite being nerfed, picks up the KO. Boston, you're a mad lad. Oh gosh, am I even ready for these next shenanigans? Boston leads Excadrill into Ho-Oh. We see the save switch into Ursaring. I had to do a double take. Yes, this is Ursaring in the Master League. Welcome to the Shadow Hub, as this is just the kind of crazy insanity that Boston does pretty much on a daily basis. We're going to see Boston invest in Protection. I don't dislike this shield for two reasons. Firstly, the opponent's on Snarl. If you're going to run your Veltor, run Sucker Punch. And secondly, we need to try and get this into Rock Slide range. The opponent looks at that Snarl farm down. Ursaring, you monster! Withstanding the damage, reaching one further close combat, forcing both Protect Shields off a Master League Pokemon. Holy Ursaring, you little monster. We send out Excadrill. The opponent fire off the Dark Pulse. Excadrill looking for that resisted Mud Slap farm down, which we're unable to get. So Boston, like, I'm just going to catch the foul play onto his Shadow Sneasler. When you're running these insane teams, you need to make some insane plays. But I still think we're in trouble here. Back out comes Ho-Oh. We fire off the Aerial Ace. Certainly putting him into Rocks and Rain. Out comes Dalga. Get there. No, we don't get there. I think we needed to farm up one more because we need to be okay undercharging. I'm going to let you cook Boston. There's no shot. There is no shot. Boston. If I had a hat on, I'm not wearing a hat, I'd take it off because that energy management was sublime. I can't quite believe it, but Boston pulls off an insane dub. GG's, mate, and keep up the great work. Our next featured battler is going to be another one of our known Spice Lords, King Peria. Tricky lead, leading Cacturn into Gyarados. King Peria makes a very nice catch, catching the Trailblaze onto Ho-Oh. Our Ho-Oh save switch is answered by Malamar. We're only running one move, and unfortunately it is going to debuff our defense, but perhaps that isn't the worst thing. It gives the opponent less farm. Back out comes Cacturn, and King Peria thinking about calling the foul play bait. The opponent does go for the foul play bait, so I guess we're going to be forced to double shield. The opponent made a very nice bait, but Cacturn, undeterred, invests 2 Protect Shields and gets a massive farm down. The opponent then makes a very nice catch, catching the Trailblaze onto Jumpluff. King Peria going to fire off the boosted Dynamic Punch. This is resisted, but still forced the final Protect Shield, and then we send out Big Squidward to absorb the energy. Everything in Jumpluff's arsenal will hit for neutral. King Peria not messing around, just going to fire off the Scald, removing Jumpluff from the field of play. We poison jab farm down Gyarados and emerge victorious. GG's. In the next battle, King Peria going to be diving in to the Master League. We've got a Swampert double steel on with Shadow Aggron. I've tried running Shadow Aggron in MLP, and I'll be honest, I got absolutely destroyed as that thing is so hard to run. The opponent tried to make a very nice double resisted Hydro Cannon catch onto Palkia unsuccessfully. We're getting some frame drops here. What do you expect? This game is full of trash mechanics. We survive the Aquatail, fire off the Wild Charge, removing Palkia from the field of play. King Peria just going to fire off the Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot won't do much damage, but does come with a potential. I think it's a 30% chance to lower the opponent's attack. Unfortunately, we don't quite get it. So we're going to shield up the Dark Pulse. Swampert now looking to return fire with a Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon goes unshielded. Hydro Cannon in Master League, not all that threatening, especially with some of these huge stat product mon. We do manage to force a Protect Shield, and King Peria putting it all on Aggron. Oh boy. I was thinking, what can Aggron beat in the back? And the answer to that is Ho-Oh. Aggron, it's your time to shine, buddy. And I'm so glad King Peria able to get a win with this thing. As I got clapped, but King Peria is going to emerge victorious. We're going to fire off the Meteor Beam, looking to Vampire attack. We're going to be able to smack down, farm down Necrozma, and take that game. Our next featured battler is going to be Pat. Firstly, the graphic on the left was put together by Pat, so huge thank you for that. We leave Flygon into Primeape. Primeape getting torn apart by the Dragon Tails. Flygon is pretty glassy, but we can at least tank the first Rage Fist. Oof, that still does so much. We do have energy here, but I'm not really sure it's worth a Protect Shield, to be honest. Pat disagrees. Invest in a Protect Shield. We bank our energy, send out Rhydon, able to get the Mud Slap farm down, and out comes Gator. Very nice timing. 3 Mud Slaps and the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe goes unshielded and gets the attack drop. We managed to get Gator into farm down range, so Pat just elects to let it go down. We now send out Lapras. The opponent not wanting to get farm down. Send out Quagsire. How do we play this? Pat gonna shield up the Stone Edge. Go for the correct one Ice Shard and the Surf. Surf, force a Protect Shield. Lapras banks the Surf for the road. We go for the wham, bam, combo play. Fire off the Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands will be forcing the final protection. The opponent unable to Poison Sting farm us down. Is the opponent's timer up? Pat needs to be mindful. The opponent might look to make a catch. Pat continuing to farm up energy. One Stone Edge won't be lethal as we have some insane bulk. Pat looking to farm up to the double Surf. We actually opt to throw the Skull Bash, looking to vamp up our defense. Can the opponent sting us down? Oh my gosh. You almost give me an anxiety attack there, Pat, but we're able to take that game. Pat next is entering the Open Ultra League with a theme team with the Gen 2 Legendary Dogs. We pick up a great lead. Suicune into Giratina. Oh, nice catch from the opponent. Giratina Cresselia Core though, not so nice. We land the Ice Beam. Would have been nice to throw the Scald there and fish for the attack drop. We actually bank our energy and send out Entei. Unless the opponent's got Future Sight, we're going to fully wall the opponent. I don't know why you'd Grass Knot there. I think Moonblast would be objectively better, even if Grass Knot and Moonblast is your move pool. The opponent continuing to throw Grass Knot after Grass Knot. Entei going to look to vamp up his attack. Firing off the Flame Charge, we see Pat go for the Undercharge, looking to farm down. The opponent not wanting to give us any free farm, go for the combo play, send out Giratina. Giratina fires off the Dragon Claw, then able to Shadow Claw, farm down afterwards. Suicune this time is going to be switch locked against Giratina. We fire off the Ice Beam, forcing a Protect Shield. Suicune, a Pokemon I've used a lot in Ultra League, and it is so bulky, even as a Shadow. Look at that Dragon Claw, it just did pathetic damage. Pat farms up once again, full sends the Ice Beam. This Ice Beam does land, getting Giratina deep into the red health range. We're putting it all on Raikou. Raikou comes in, looks at the Volt Switch farm down. The opponent again, not wanting to get farm down, pivot out into Ampharos. Pat with 2 Protect Shields, going to shield at the Brutal Swing. We're going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is more expensive than Wild Charge, but Wild Charge is not only resisted, also debuffs our own defense. What is the hardest hitting move left in the game? Probably a Moonblast from Cresselia, so I do agree with that no shield. Raikou tanks the Brutal Swing, gets that Volt Switch farm down, back out comes Giratina. Giratina also gets farm down. Pat at the double Wild Charge. As long as that Psycho Cut doesn't knock us out, which it doesn't. The first Wild Charge forces the final Protect Shield, and the second one knocks out Cresselia, and we take that game. GG's. Heading into the final battle for our community creation, with Boot Switch entering the arena. We lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into Wigglytuff. The opponent opting to stay in, which probably means they're running some kind of nonsense team with like Victreebel and Bastion in the back. And if that's the case, Shadow Alolan Sandslash is advantageous, into the entirety of the opponent's team. The opponent shielded the first Ice Punch, the second one goes unshielded. The opponent opts to throw energy, and everything here will be resisted. The opponent fire off Disarming Voice, then send out Dunsparce. Boot Switch opting to stay in. After throwing this move, we really need to pivot or we're just going to get farmed down. We actually concede the farm down, perhaps as intentional, as we don't want to be switch locked. We send out Quagsire, going to shield up the first Drill Run. Dunsparce, not all that threatening to be honest. Drill Run does about 40%, as you're going to see here. Quagsire easily withstands the damage. Interesting enough, we have no Aqua Tail. We're on the very old school moveset of Mud Bomb and Stone Edge. Mud Bomb forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and then they send out Ariados. As they've got no shield, I personally would have just thrown the Stone Edge. We're going to let Boot Switch cook. Boot Switch, just going to put it all on Kingdra to clean up. Kingdra comes in. Kingdra looks like Dragon Breath farm down, which we're able to get. Back out comes Wigglytuff. These Dragon Breaths are going to be double resisted, so we are going to have to throw energy. We throw the Octazooka. Octazooka, of course, easily knocks out. Back out comes Dunsparce, and the opponent is going to need to double up. I think they'll one-shot here, I'll be honest. I definitely lost count, as we're like 50 minutes into the video. They're not doubled up. We're able to Dragon Breath farm down and take that game. And that is going to draw to a close Season 20's best battles using Shadow Pokemon. A huge thank you to all the members of my Discord for submitting some fire content. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battles visual form is down below. I highly doubt anyone's watching at this point, but if you made it to this point,